Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Dina and today I'm here with you for another yarn talk video. And as always, we can't talk about yarn without me having my faithful mug of tea. And today this tea is a black tea. It is the Pickwick Dutch Blend, which is basically a black tea with lemon peels. Yeah, good fresh taste. Sorry, not lemon peels, orange peels. Orange peels. And the reason for the orange is, again, the House of Orange, which is the king's house, so to say, or heritage here of the Netherlands. So that is national color, etc. So it makes good sense. And I think it is a nice tea. It's just classic black tea and has like slightly that flavor of orange zests or orange peels to it. Yeah, it's good. So it's been a busy week for me. I am around then finishing off this video because obviously I do pre-record a little bit. About to finish my first work week at my new job. That has been quite a thing to get my head wrapped around. I do definitely do a lot of thinking, but everybody's telling me once I'm worked in about a month's time, it should be a breeze to do this job. So I hope they're right. But there is definitely a few things I need to refresh myself, remind myself, and getting used to the systems and so on. But what I do like is it's a very flexible job so far. They're really, really kind, super nice colleagues, etc. So yeah, I better catch up on this, and I hope they like me because I do indeed at least like the working surroundings and the freedom that I get. Yeah, so that's a positive thing. So you saw Monday that I had this, how many scrunchies can I make from a Go Handmade Boheme double velvet yarn, and the final answer were almost 5. So I finished up the last 3 of these in this lavender color. Gorgeous scrunchies. One I had shown last week's yarn talk. But also, I have one that I didn't completely finish, so I'm kind of waiting for picking up an extra skein of this. But I will first do that either when, basically next time I need to do a yarn haul where it's with a store that also sells these yarns. So that is currently a little bit put on hold in my work on projects stash pile, but it's something I'll finish up in like 5 minutes once I have this, because it's missing like, I think it was 9 treble crochets to be finished. I had another skein of the same yarn in the colorway Old Rose, and I finished up the 4 I knew I could finish up, which are here, and they are rather similar to the lavender looking at the colors, right? But the thing is that I didn't start on the 5th. I would definitely not have enough yarn to make the 5th. I calculated that based on the weights, etc. I might have enough if I option to do it with only double crochets rather than treble crochets. It's something I haven't decided on yet. So therefore, it's kind of just like laying there pending, because it could also be, let's say, that I get some other and I could combine it with a different or something like that. But so far, I have a bunch of scrunchies. And these scrunchies, the intent is that I'm likely going to be selling off these in the hope that there are a few good deals to be made out there once I get the website up running. Because yes, I am working on it. It's just not going as quickly because I've been kind of busy with this new job. But that's what I finished the past week. Then we have a Fleur, because now let's get into all my current working projects, and I do have a few, but not that many because some are kind of on hold and so on. And I haven't progressed on Fleur. I had hoped that I could have some time to crochet on this Wednesday evening, but somebody I'm helping to organize an event with, which has nothing to do with crochet or yarn, he called me and asked if I could work out this time scheduling thing Wednesday evening. So I put that on as have to do because it had a deadline. And then afterwards, my partner wanted to spend some couple time, so to say. We watched a movie, and it was something called the Electric something. It's new on Netflix. It was pretty cool actually. About robots, future stuff. Electric Stand. I don't know. I need to find that. Give me one moment, I will find the name of the movie that we watched last night. I'm back. The Electric State was the movie that we watched Wednesday evening. Absolutely. It took a little bit to get into the movie, but I do actually recommend it. It was better than I had thought. It is a bit futuristic, definitely fantasy-like, but yet not too unrealistic because everything in the world is getting more and more robot-like. So if you are a little bit into technology and you want to see a movie that also definitely has some humor into it, I'd say go watch it. But that means I didn't get any progress made on Fleur because I hadn't had time to do, well, I didn't find time and decide to reserve time for it either last week or this week. So we are still stuck at around 82.5. But the good thing is, because some of my projects now are on hold, if I do not add any other projects, if I do my best not to do that, then I can actually have time to work on this. That's the thought, right? This is currently where I'm at, and this is at the end of the second side, so I'm halfway through. But just for you to have an idea, you probably watched this so many times already because the last, April has not seen much progress on this blanket at all. Maybe I should really try to be motivated and see if I can actually get it finished this year. That would be kind of cool. Blanket is definitely not something that I work fast on, and we know that from the past as well. So maybe I should just put myself together and get Fleur done. Fleur is gorgeous in so many aspects. I warmly recommend it. Also, even if you choose just to make it 2 colored tones, so you have a main color and the background color, you can also do that and it will look also quite gorgeous. The yarn I'm using for this is the Stylecraft Special DK yarns. That is a double knit yarn, so a 3-weight, 100% acrylic. It's premium acrylic. 100 grams, 3.5 ounces to 295 meters or 320 some odd yards. That is pretty much it. I'm working in the colorway Plum right now for the background color. And the color that goes through all of it is cream. And once I'm done with Plum, in about 8 or 9 rows, I will be changing to the color named Emperor, which is absolutely this super gorgeous dark purple. It's more like an aubergine color, I would say. It's a bit like an aubergine color, yeah. And yeah, else for that, I'm just keeping track of all my ends here so I can make a scrap project once I'm done with this. But I won't do that, of course, until I'm done with Fleur. So that is kind of the idea. I will have some ends left and I will probably make some sort of scrap project out of the ends. That seems like a fun little thing to do. Then last week, I asked you on last week's yarn talk video, what am I to do with my poncho? And I realize now I'm switching around the order of things, but you know, let's just get that done. I asked you what to do with the poncho. I have it all here with the yarns and everything. And the problem is with this poncho is that I had sewn the pieces wrong together. The idea was to have 2 sides, it's supposed to go like this. And instead of doing that, I ended up making more like a square. So I've sewn some pieces wrong on each other. Basically, what should have happened is this piece should have been on this end here. And then I should have added 1 more piece here. And that should then have been sewn on here, but first out here. roughly. Obviously I didn't do that because I was too quick to sew on those ends. I just counted 4 pieces and sewed together, which is wrong. And well, it's not fixable because I also sewn it on at the wrong place. So it's not gonna solve itself unless I frock. And I was thinking I could make an extra piece and make a triangle type of poncho. I think I'm gonna do that in the future because most of you guys have recommended me to eat the sour apple, so to say, and to frock it. Which means, and the thing is, I sew this piece, this corner, I used 1 thread to do this, which means, and also it is in the same color, which is the actual thread that I used to sew with. I might know by looking really well at it, and yet I'm not 100% sure. So I think after discussing this also on the live I had Wednesday afternoon, most seem to suggest me the idea to bring this home with me next time going to Denmark, which is in a bit more than a week's time. And then when I see my mom, if she has the energy, we will look at this together and I will frock it and get it sewn correctly together. I still have more yarns. I will have to see how much of this yarns I will then bring with me to Denmark. But probably like a skein or 2 because I'm not sure how much I will have time to work on it, because when I am in Denmark, I will have 2 things going on for me. One thing is the fact that I will be there in Denmark. I will be helping my mom, but I will also have to be working while I'm there. And that just simply means that I don't know the amount of spare time I have to do crafting. But I do know that I will have obviously time in the evening and so on. So I'm simply just gonna bring this project with me and we will sew it together, and I'll probably bring enough yarn to do the first bits around it or something like that, because then I have it, right? So that's the thought. I'm simply gonna bring a couple of skeins with me to Denmark. The granny squares folded up nicely right now, but and sew them together as how they're supposed to be sewn together. And then hope that I cut the right yarn there. So that is a project that's kind of put aside to do that, because the thing is, if I do this together with my mom, who's point 1 really good at fixing my mistakes, we can kind of look at it together, and if we're both in agreement that this could probably be the yarn, then it feels safer to cut. Because if I cut the wrong one, I'll destroy a whole square, or not a whole square, but I will have to redo and refix that and figure out how I do that best. And to prevent that, it's kind of the safe play to bring it with me to Denmark. So that is the plan. I'm just gonna, you know, pack it down and bring it with me, and then bring a skein or 2 more to kind of go with it. Because it feels safer like that. Yeah. But right now it's in my project crate. I'm not gonna work on this until I'm going to Denmark this. So that is another week. It's gonna lay dormant. And it will be fine because it allows me to work on some of my other projects, because I do have a few other projects I can work on. And one of the projects we worked on during Wednesday's live, and that is the Ultimate Sacrifice shawl. The thing I have during the live right now is that I think the camera gets a bit too saturated with light. And therefore it gets too bright. So I need to adjust some factors in that, or at least see if I can change some settings up, because I'm gotten to this bright part of the yarn where it's really not visible what the yarn colors are. So I'm going to see if it works on this, because this is a different camera that I'm recording with. It's not my webcam, but this comes pretty close to color actually. This is pretty close and true to the colors that I'm trying to show. But what happens on the stream is it just blinds up totally as if it was a light bulb giving away light. And that is definitely not the case. This is, as you can see, we have light purple combined with some baby pink, and the baby pink goes in here where it also slowly goes into the white where the center is full white. That is the finishing strands that we are working with. And let's see if I can actually find, and I think I'm gonna see, I'm actually just gonna, to begin with, just go back, because maybe that is enough for you to see it all. But the shawl until now, my friends, yeah, I can almost do that. Needs a little bit of stretching, but this is where we are at. It is getting pretty nice, I would say. We are not yet done, but we are definitely getting a lot closer to completion. I'm estimating to about, well, there is still quite some hours of work left. Definitely still quite some hours of work left here, but we are getting closer. I'm estimating another 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 color changes left. So I don't know, but a few hours at least for sure. A color change per 2 hours, if I'm not too fiddly, maybe 3 hours, I don't know. Yeah, and once that's done, we're complete and we're gonna block it. It is gorgeous. I'm currently just expanding the pattern based on what I know, because the increasements now here is actually wider than what the pattern is calling for. It is easy to increase the pattern on your own or expand the pattern or whatever you would say. So that is a good thing. And once complete, of course, I'll show it for you guys. I'll get it blocked, take some nice photos. And while it is super gorgeous, it is probably an item that I will be selling long-term speaking. And once we have done this, I need to find us a new project. So what I probably should be doing is I should probably sit down and look at some possibly designs. And I may want to do another Red Teapot Atelier shawl. And before deciding on which, I may option to look a bit at them and then throw up a poll, which will be shared on my community site, and you will then have the opportunity to choose which I will do. But before then, I probably should also have a bit of an idea maybe what yarn I will do. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You could also, if you want to, go through my old sort my stash videos, because a bunch of the yarns I have for those cakes that I sorted, I still have. And if we go towards, like, say, Sultan Deluxes and Hobby Twisters, etc., I've a bunch of cakes there, which we could probably look into taking and picking one of those for one of the shawls. If you have any suggestions, feel free to comment in the description box down below. And else I will be putting up a poll sometime within the next 2 weeks or so on my channel, listing the possible patterns you can pick for me to choose. So basically I'll choose maybe 2 or 3 different patterns, and the pattern with most strokes is the next shawl I will be making. My goal is to have this finished on Friday next week, at least the crocheting part. I'm not 100% sure if I can reach to have it so finished that I can also reach to have it blocked before Friday's yarn talk. But at least if I can have it finished work-wise, that is my goal. And once that is done, the focus is of course also on Fleur. But I also have another project that I'm currently working on, which I've not shown to you. And the reason for that is that it is a surprise. It's going to be a part of some content that's coming up in the end of this month. But I can show you what colors I'm using. I am using some Linda Hobby 88 yarns in the colorway ochre, which is like a yellow. It's more like an egg, like a really solid egg yolk yellow, a little bit dark egg yolk yellow, but it's named ochre. And then the one that's named orange. Those are the two color yarns I use, and I use a tiny bit of black as well. But I'm not going to say anything more than that, except that you will see this project when we get closer towards the end of May. It will be up when I'm in Denmark, which means I have to have this project finished before I travel, because I also before then need to record the content that you will be seeing then. So, can't talk too much about it, but there is something else in the works. So next to that, and next to the shawl, once that's done, I have actually basically nothing I can really work on, because everything else is on hold for various reasons. We have Fleur. So Fleur will maybe, through Easter, have the opportunity to get some attention from me. And in the event that I get bored from Fleur and I have everything else done, I will allow myself to start on the Sunset Shopper bag, which is by DROPS Design. It is normally a regular DROPS Paris Unicolors cotton that they're using, which is sort of an 8/8 cotton or a DK weight cotton. I am using the Paris Recycled Denim because I think it is a great idea to have a recycled yarn for a sort of a shopper bag. I've done that in the past successfully, and I'm likely just going to do it again here. I like this. Actually, so far the feeling is good. So that is the plan. I have multiple skeins of this, and I should have enough. I should have ordered enough back when I made this order in March to make that summer shopper bag. So it could be that, or not summer shopper, sunset shopper. So it could be that I start on it, because that is a project that I will, crochet-wise, likely to bring with me to Denmark next to the poncho. I'm not going to bring the full poncho with me. Just the pieces, plus maybe 1 or 2 extra skeins. I'm also, for Denmark, bringing with me a skein of yarn for a knitting project, which I'm likely going to be doing while I'm there. I think that's pretty much summarizing this week's yarn talk. Lots of things going on. Cheers for some lovely tea. For those that's curious on the updates regarding my mom, she had a CVC implanted last week Friday, and unfortunately she had some complications from it. Those complications caused her to get blood poisoning. Not sure if she reached to be septic or not, but she definitely got really, really bad. I think they might have caught it before it really went extremely bad. But basically she got some blood poisoning or blood infection. And the blood infection was caused by 2 different bacteria. She was really, really bad over the weekend and really ill. Luckily at the hospital still when they realized that it had gone wrong. And they removed that from her Wednesday, the CVC, for now, because they have concluded that a couple of other patients who got the CVC inserted last week had same experiences, and therefore they concluded it's possibly that the issue she had with the blood infection was caused by the insert of the CVC in some way or another. That is a bit sad news, because the CVC would have been great for my mom due to the fact that her veins is currently very fragile. She's not really receptive to being, she's a needle cushion, and she had hoped that could be less with the CVC. She will hopefully have her second curve treatment of chemotherapy on Saturday if everything goes well and she's back healthy up to choose pace. It was intended it should have been done Tuesday, but due to the infection, it was not deemed safe to do so, which I'm really happy. She's in best care right now. But yeah, everything kind of postponed and things goes totally unplanned these days. So it's rough to be on the sideline, not knowing instantly what's going on. But I am doing my best to deal with it. I have great support around me, and I still write with my mom basically daily to check how she is, and that's a good thing. Generally, she's doing better already compared to what she was last weekend, so it's progressing well in the right direction right now. Also, she is seeming to generate less liquids in her lungs, which means that they have to get less drained, which is a really good thing because that's less invasive. And it hopefully also is an indicator that her first curve treatment of the chemotherapy might have had a positive effect on the Hodgkin's lymphoma, which she's diagnosed with, which is the cause of all this misery. But yeah, we are looking positive towards the future. And yeah, thank you for those of you that keeps her in your prayers. It is very much appreciated. Yeah, that was the update on that side. So I'm going to say thank you very much for hanging around until now. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you do like talking about yarn, because we generally do talk about yarn here. And on Monday, I'm bringing with you to some local stores in Nijmegen, some of our value stores, when it comes to yarn at least. And I hope you will enjoy the trip you have with me there on Easter Monday. So I'm going to say now, take care and happy crafting. Until I see you again.